against Carlsen Jr. Sticking with e4. So this is where I wanted to get at. I was reading a book about Chigorin yesterday, and was really inspired by his opening repertoire of the both colors. And one of the ideas was to go 2 Queen E2 in the French, as he did many times against Tarash in their match and others. So let's see what my opponent is going to do. Obviously, the point of Queen E2 is to discourage the opponent from playing 2d5, as then you could take, and black will not be able to take with a pawn, which is essentially the point of playing 1e6 and French. So here, probably I would rather go d3 and knight d2 at some point myself, but for whatever reason, Chigorin always preferred to put the knight in c3, so that's what I'm going to do. Now he's put his knight on f6, gonna go f4. And let's see. My opponent has certainly developed pretty reasonably here. And I think castle is going to come pretty soon. Though he does have to worry about a quick... Okay, this is interesting. If I take it, I'm pretty underdeveloped. If I take it twice, and these pieces are going to spring to life, so I don't want to do that. Usually when you're bringing your queen to e2 in the opening, you're not looking to open the game up so quickly. So what I would say is that if he goes knight d4, I probably would just go queen f2, not taking on d4, as I feel that would open the c file potentially and attacking on c2, and would also make me have to retreat the knight on c3 to a worse square. And after queen b6, I'm just going king h1 in order not to have any shenanigans with c4. I could have taken a d5. The reason that I didn't do it was that I didn't see it. I was too busy talking. But still, I feel that he would have some compensation. But now I cannot talk about not saying that by not playing it on the next move. So knight d4, he goes. I certainly didn't want to take that. And now ed, queen d6. I'm just taking on d4. Yeah, winning another pawn, and starting to look pretty good. So rook c2 is threatened. I guess I'm just gonna go c4. f5 is also very tempting, but I felt ultimately unnecessary. f5, knight e5, f6 probably would have won. If I'm gonna play Chigorin opening, I should probably play more aggressively, as that was his style, rather than what the nonsense that I'm the safety for first nonsense that I'm doing. It's hard to completely renounce your style while you're playing. You have your preferences, and usually they come through. So knight e5. This does not lose immediately because of bishop f6. Bishop f7 looks tempting, but he does have knight f7. both defending the queen and attacking the queen should I try bishop d6. So I'm not gonna bother with that. I'm just gonna go rook e1. Pawn a7 is hanging. Just gonna grab that. 3 extra pawns now as well as a good position. Should be plenty. Also, I'm threatening d4 now, as well as taking on b7 another pawn there. So he goes knight d3, but that's the point of a pin. Whatever piece is pinned cannot move. So another one for me, but not a bad game. Let me try this one. Oh, sorry, I had to abort this since this was non-premium member. I tried to accept a GM challenge, which was just very, very nearby on the list. Let me see where that challenge is now. Sorry guys, but I would of course have played the game if my opponent had been a premium member, but I cannot accept challenges that are not premium, even if I do. Okay, there we go. Chess Reader is the one I wanted to accept. Apparently I haven't played Chess Reader before, so that's going to be interesting. e4, e5, bishop c4 again. Bishop c5, and here's the Evans gambit that Chigorin was very, very keen on playing. And thus, that is what I'm going to try. My opponent plays very quickly, which is a bit unnerving since I don't really know too much about the theory. I guess I gotta go queen b3, right? d6, take on e5. I think bishop b6, is that supposed to be the move? Yeah, I think that is quite correct, what he's doing. Don't know what to do here. Maybe a4 is reasonable. Whenever he goes for this, queen goes away, and I'm maybe threatening a5 in some lines. Okay, castles. Oh, d5 was probably a positional threat that I missed there. Yeah, it's a bit unpleasant. I guess I'll take it. I can go knight d2, but I'm just worse. If I keep queens, it feels like I'm worse as well. Yeah, let me go knight d2. Try and limit the damage. This is still definitely worse for me. If this had been a Berlin and he didn't have the right to castle, then I would have been a lot happier. But since he can castle, then I feel like I'm just slightly worse. And yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. I thought after this move I could go knight b5, but there's a pin there, so that's not possible. So I'm rerouting the knight. And just trying to be solid and not lose immediately. But I do have some ideas of going rook b1, trying to alleviate the pressure that is on my queen side, and maybe one day, one very fine day, maybe I can use my majority of 4 against 3 on the queen's on the king side. I do feel as though I definitely equalized here. Rook d6 may be coming. Some lines. And yeah, h3 is useful, preparing f3, g4 later on, and it also gives me lift. So I think I'm happier with the inclusion of these two moves than he is. Yeah, he goes rook c6. That was a bit dumb, I have to say. I didn't need to do that. Okay, king h2. Trying to keep the tension. He takes. Bishop e6. That's very sensible, of course. Takes again. This is all looking pretty drawish. Yeah, very, very drawish. Bishop b4. Rook d5, maybe. Cannot take the pawn because of d7. But after bishop d7, I don't have much. Rook e5, you can go rook c8 followed by rook d8. Yeah, no, at least his pieces are a bit passive, so I can claim to have some initiative. Bishop e6. I guess I'll go king f4, continue to act. Oh. Now apparently my mouse is working again. And he resigns. Pretty tough game there as well. But okay, let me try this guy. Savely Gulubov.